Okay, so we're ready to begin our today's EdTech Lounge. On behalf of the Network of Quality Teaching and Learning, I welcome all of you to today's session. If you're attending EdTech Lounge for the first time, let me just quickly tell you what this is about. So EdTech Lounge is a virtual space for faculty members to share their experiences of teaching with technology and online learning. We started EdTech Lounge during the COVID-19 period to enable faculty to share their experiences and all the new practices that they were trying out in courses. Each week, we have a new faculty member who comes and presents their experiences, and the talk usually lasts for about 15 to 20 minutes. And after the speaker has presented their experiences, we open up the session for question and answer. So during the talk, I'd like to request all of you to please keep your microphone on mute so that our speaker can share their experiences without any interruptions. But if you have any questions, you can share your questions or your comments in the chat window. Okay, so it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Sadrudin Pardhan as our today's speaker in the EdTech Lounge. Dr. Pardhan has been associated with the Institute for Educational Development, Pakistan, since its inception in July 1993, and he has held senior faculty as well as management positions at AKU-IED. In November 2012, AKU presented Dr. Pardhan the prestigious Professor Emeritus Award, and Dr. Pardhan has also been the Chief Executive Officer of AKESP on 3 different occasions. Currently, Dr. Pardhan is Special Advisor to the Provost of AKU, and he's also very actively involved in teaching at the Institute for Educational Development. So over to you, Dr. Pardhan, and
Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, and I'm Jambo Water. It's a real pleasure to be here today. You know, from the topic, you'll see it's a journey for somebody who has been teaching for a long time. A little bit about myself before we get into this teaching and learning online. I started my teaching in 1969, and I'm quite sure many people in this audience might not even have been born at that time. My teaching career started in Kenya. I taught both at schools and at a very prestigious institution at that time called Kenya Science Teachers College, where I was once upon a time a vice principal. I became a teacher educator and have remained one ever since. In early 80s, my family and I decided to move to Canada. And while in Canada, I taught school, college, and university levels. And then back in 1988, December, I got an opportunity to come to Pakistan. That was my first stint as the CEO of Aga Khan Education Service, Pakistan. It was while I was at AKESP that we developed the concept of AKU-IED. And then in 1993, I moved over to AKU-IED, and I've been teaching there and being involved in management since 1993. But it's my recent work that I want to talk about. And currently I teach the MS specialization courses in leadership and management at AKU-IED, and I also teach an elective course for the MEd, MPhil, and PhD students, and that's the one I'll focus on today. Up until the COVID situation, all my courses were face-to-face. Life was nice, dandy, lots of discussion, and really enjoyed it. And then came the bombshell. February, March 2020, I was teaching my leadership and management course, and the university shut down. So what do you do? Well, it was a traumatic experience for the students. The students had to vacate. They were very, very upset. Most of them had no choice. They had to travel back to their homes. Many of them were from Gilgit-Baltistan and Chitral. And there was a lot of unhappiness around. And also we were all locked down. In some respects, we are also in a way locked down. There was a lot of uncertainty. Fortunately, Higher Education Commission engineered a move that the students should continue their studies online. And after much discussion, our university decided to go online. So we had to do a quick orientation or reorientation of the faculty to start teaching online. And it was agreed that we would start teaching around 1st of June. So there was still some time, March and April, May. So there were lots and lots of webinars that were being organized, and all of us took full opportunity to participate in webinars so that we could get familiar with Zoom and other online processes. And I was fortunate that I also got a chance to conduct a number of seminars for AKDN institutions and for Aga Khan Education Board targeting the youth. So there was much learned at that time. Now, at the time of closure, we still had 7 weeks of the winter semester remaining. And during the ensuing period in March, April, May, we gained a lot of experiences. Now there was an issue. Connectivity was going to be a big problem. And when the course started, we were right, because most of my students were in Gilgit-Baltistan and Chitral, and it was a nightmare. But fortunately, we had availability of the asynchronous mode. We were able to load our programs on virtual learning environment. And I was using the email quite a lot, because for the students it was much easier to work with email. So we learned a lot of lessons. One major lesson for me was that if I had to teach online courses, I needed to have much better internet provider at home, which I quickly installed. And we had to put in a lot of effort for preparations for online. See, in face-to-face, there was a lot of flexibility. That was gone. And fortunately, we had learned a lot of lessons through webinars, etc., for online learning. The fall term was approaching quickly. By the time we finished our 7 remaining weeks of the winter term, it was already past mid-July. And we were expected to commence our leadership, in my case, my pedagogical leadership course on 17th of August. Now, normally I teach this course in fall term, and it's a very popular course amongst the MEd and MPhil students. Last year I had 23 students, and it was great fun. It was a face-to-face mode, and we really enjoyed it. One attraction in that course is that we make school visits. We visit schools that are good practitioners. So it's very, very popular with the students. But time was limited. And I was also concerned about my own expertise in Zoom and other online teaching tools. So when the course was advertised, 14 students opted for it. And most of them were from Gilgit-Baltistan, Chitral. And after negotiations with our graduate program office, 4 of them left, so I still had 10 students. So I prepared my course outline, and now the most important thing was, how do I convert a face-to-face to Zoom? Naturally, I was very, very concerned. And fortunately, my course is a seminar course, so I was almost sure that I will manage. Now, because there were only 10 students, we felt that we could admit a few more students from the open market, those who wanted continuing education and those who are interested in pedagogical leadership. And I agreed to that wholeheartedly. What I did not realize was that 25 of them registered. And I was a bit worried that how would I manage such a large group plus my own 10 students. Fortunately, only 13 turned up, 13 paid, and one fortunately withdrew. So I had 12 continuing professional education students, which was a very interesting mix. I had 8 from Uganda, 1 from India, 2 from Lahore, and 1 from Karachi. But I had to make a very important decision. Do I put the 12 and 10 together, or should I run one course with 22? And after much reflection, I said, I'll take the challenge and ran the whole course for all 22 of them. It's a large number. Now, fortunately, around that time, on 11th and 18th August, BDL ran a special 2-session course on Zoom. So, and I quickly registered, and it was great fun. I learned some on 11th and learned some more, and I realized one thing, that if I had to conduct any group work, and if I wanted to use breakout rooms in Zoom, conducting it for 22 participants would be difficult because I was all by myself. So by the time we started, my handbook was ready, new course outlines were made, I took all the copyright issue permissions, and for me the one very important thing was, how do I replace my field visits? So I got an idea. I thought I will get in touch with all the 3 schools we normally visit, and I talked to the leadership, and they agreed that I could, they could make a presentation which I could record on Zoom, which I quickly did. And I thought that was a great achievement. So I recorded these presentations. Now, I don't know, those of you in Karachi, at that time we had major electricity problems. So I suffered a little bit, but we ultimately managed. One of the 3 schools itself was going through a COVID-related issue. So they said that they would not be able to present it while I recorded it, but they gave me the presentation, so I recorded it myself. Fortunately, I know the school well. So, I had to, at every step, I had to use some kind of an innovation to make sure that my course worked well. So the course, how has it progressed? Well, so far 11 weeks of the course have gone by. It has been a very, very exciting course. I had a very, very disciplined group of 22 students, so there was never a problem with muting, sharing screen, preparations for their seminars, videos. It's all worked like a charm. And the students really seem to enjoy the seminar style of the course. And most of the students share with me that they are very excited. It's a very diverse group. Diverse from the perspective that there are people from across Pakistan, plus there are students from Uganda, India. So it's 3 different countries, and it's great fun. The people bring different perspectives, and one strategy that I used was that for every article I had 2 presentations. So the group was divided into groups. The large group was divided into smaller groups, and every article had 2 presentations. And there was a reason for doing that. One was that one can get 2 different perspectives, but I was also very conscious that if from one region there was a problem of electricity or connectivity, at least I would have 1 presentation available from another region. Now, amazingly enough, I have had no problems with connectivity issues. I mean, I've had virtually 100% participation from all the students. But anyway, the students really appreciate the fact that there are 2 different perspectives. And you can actually feel it because people look at leadership in so many different ways. And I find that the students are very, very creative in their presentation. So for me also, it's quite a lot of fun. And we upload all these on virtual learning environment. Now I had a number of things that happened during those 11 weeks. After about 8 weeks, I wanted to do some group work. And how do I manage that? I had 22 students. And I wanted to use the breakout room. So I approached BDL. I was very fortunate. Both Azra Nasim and Kuram Iqbal, who I think are both participating here, were very, very supportive. And with Kuram's assistance, I was able to manage. And how did we do that? Well, in the 9th week, I got Kuram to assist me to run a small workshop for at least 8 of my course participants who would become my coordinators. So I announced this one, and all 22 of them turned up. And Kuram did a great job, and we went through a 1-hour course, and students really appreciated it because they also learned quite a lot. So on the day of the actual breakout session, things worked well. Kuram was there to support me. I also got help from Nadeem Naz, who is the IT person at IED, to assist. Students enjoyed the process, and they had to write a reflection on it. And they thought it was a great experience. And for me, it was a great experience to be able to visit all the 4 groups, which were quite diverse, and learn how they were progressing. Then I got a second opportunity. On 19th October, that was last week, I was going to present my first recorded session. And there also I wanted to use breakout rooms. So in order to be absolutely sure that everything will work, I practiced the recorded session with Nadeem, who has access to Zoom, and it worked well. And on the material day, we worked it out, and we had the new groups worked out. Nadeem helped me, and voila, it worked extremely well, and it worked. The students really enjoyed it. So what has worked? Well, as I said earlier on, class is very disciplined. I have got virtually 100% participation. And surprisingly enough, electricity has not been a problem. Touch wood, I hope we don't have problem with electricity now. And academic students initially were, academic institutions were very, very good. They allowed students to use their internet connectivity, particularly when they were still in Gilgit-Baltistan and Chitral. But now that all of them are here, we have had no problems with connectivity. So things have worked like a charm. And with a co-host system, whenever, if at any given time there was an electricity problem, which I had once, the co-host continued and everything worked seamlessly. Service with a smile from BDL Net has always been very, very good. Support from Nadeem Naz is very much appreciated. So anytime I wanted to practice something, he was always available. Now, what are the issues? We face many issues. My elective course is of 3-hour duration, and 3 hours is a long time to keep people busy in a seminar situation. But fortunately, so far, so good. They're excited, and we do a lot of activities, so things work out well. But for me, as a faculty, it requires a lot of preparations. And in order to use the tools, I think at least 2 persons should be there. So in the future, maybe students can be trained to help. I think, so what now? I think online teaching and learning has been a great experience, and I think it has tremendous potential, and particularly considering that in my own class, I have students from Uganda, from India, etc. It's been really, really a great experience. And the fact that connectivity issues were sorted out in Gilgit-Baltistan and Chitral, I think there are huge opportunities of conducting programs online for Gilgit-Baltistan and Chitral. If, for example, HEC agrees, I think even our master's and PhD programs could be conducted online in some respects, through blended learning. And one thing that, of course, I hope that we can do is quality assurance issues. So it's all about marketing, training new people, and I'm sure we can really succeed. So my last words. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for coming. I want to give special thanks to BDLNet for being extremely supportive. They've always been there, and they've really supported. And I want to thank Nadeem Naz of IT at ID has been very good. So best of luck, participants. I know I went a little fast, but I hope you were able to participate.